Okay, for my summer project, I decided to look at British cinema and Hollywood cinema. Although they're not actually on the list itself, a professor who actually teaches media studies advised them to me when I went to go speak to him the other day. Both of them are basically an in-depth look, both practical and theoretical, at the British cinema, pretty much any aspect of it, as well as the Hollywood cinema, obviously. I found them both very, very interesting reads, however, they were very, very wordy, so problems there. What's interesting about them, about the Hollywood cinema anyway, is that it refers to both film and movie. In this case, what it means is they refer to the film as in the literal aspects of the film, as in the physical copies of it, so the rolls of film and so on, and the movie is like the sounds and images that we see in the final product. Both of them, I regret to inform you that I haven't actually managed to complete the whole way through, but I am working through them because I have found them incredibly helpful in understanding the media. Okay, so we also had to do 3 films. I decided to choose Snow White, Jurassic Park, and Spirited Away. What I found interesting about all of them is that they all involve in some way some form of animation. Snow White was the first cell animated film. Each frame was drawn by hand. It was made by Disney, which is quite incredible when you think about it. If you imagine, just even though it's that long, each frame was drawn by hand and then coloured in, which is actually quite impressive in my personal opinion. I personally did not like it, the actual film that is, because it focuses around this woman. She's like, oh no, a dirty empty house. I better clean it. I have no idea who the owners are, but I'm sure they'll appreciate it regardless. So she just wanders in, starts cleaning, and then the dwarves get back, and then they're like, yeah, okay, we'll accept that. We needed a cleaner anyway. So that happens, and then at the end she gets attacked by some witch person thing. They never really covered if she's a queen, witch, or both, or whatever. Anyway, so that happens, and she dies, and then this prince just wanders up out of nowhere and is like, oh, I better save the day, and saves the day from kissing her. Good old-fashioned Disney. Anyway, next thing. Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is a film based on Michael Crichton's novel of the same name. It's quite good in my personal opinion. Basically, people somehow managed to bring dinosaurs back to life in the current day and make a theme park out of it. Clearly they've never heard of Murphy's Law because, not many people have. When they decide, yes, it's a good idea to do this, turns out it's not, and things go wrong. As a result, they have to escape the park whilst there are velociraptors and Tyrannosaurus rexes running around. Well, just the one T-Rex, actually. I don't know what happened to the other one. It's quite a good film, and I found it really, really amazing, because it was basically the first film to use CGI animation. For instance, all the dinosaurs, originally they would have been done via stop-motion animation. So, take a photo, change slightly, take a photo, change slightly, so on and so forth. However, this time, someone actually approached Spielberg, and showed him some test footage of some skeletons of some dinosaurs, which names I can't bother to pronounce, running across a field, and he liked it so much he hired the guy and said, yes, you can do it. What I also found really amazing about it is the actual T-Rex animatronic. They built a life-sized one, all out of metal parts, and they built a frame, and it was quite fat. It was really quite amazing because it really added to that level of tension to the scene, because it's something that was actually there that they could see. Fun fact about this is that it actually had to be toweled down after the scene because the rain that you see in the amazing T-Rex escape scene was a final feature at the last moment, and it actually caused the animatronic to shudder quite a bit because it would sponge up all the water. But anyway, fun fact aside, my final film was Spirited Away. It's the 11th Studio Ghibli film, and it focuses around a girl who accidentally wanders into the spirit world, trying to save her parents after they get turned into pigs by a witch. It's a bit convoluted. But anyway, she meets a bunch of people, including one old person from her past that she does not quite recall who he is. immediately. Drama. So that happens, and it just revolves around her working in the bathhouse, trying to get her parents back. It's a really, really nice film. I liked it a lot. It's because usually it just seemed very feel good at the end. There wasn't that much action in it. There was a little bit of tension, but I found it really nice to look at because it's just visually appealing. Interestingly enough, yep, it was the highest grossing film in Japan at that time. It overtook Titanic, in fact, which is how good it was. It was also the first Studio Ghibli film that used 100% computer animated, which was quite interesting. It also won an Academy Award. It was the first animated movie to win an Academy Award, in fact. To be fair, it was in fact an anime, a Japanese animation, which was actually it was very, very cool. And it somehow made $200 million worldwide before opening in North America, which is quite impressive considering that America is usually the biggest consumer of these products. So those are the reviews of the books and the films I was asked to watch over this summer. I hope you enjoyed. Bye. Okay, so I have now actually finished Hollywood Cinema, and I found myself pleasantly surprised. As stated before, it's an in-depth look at Hollywood cinema, A to Z, both practical and theoretical. However, it is not something you could probably read in one sitting. It's sort of something that you would probably go to for references and whatnot. What is very useful though is that at the end of each chapter there is a summary of what's being said. So if they use words that you don't fully understand, you can go there and it's a more simplified version of it. Similarly, they also have a dictionary at the back, or a glossary technically, which is like all the sort of terms you may come across that you may not understand. What I also found at the back was basically the production code of movies. It's somewhat outdated, but it's the guidelines of what you can and cannot do in movies legally, and I found it quite useful. This is definitely a book I would recommend for people who want to study Hollywood cinema. As stated, it's quite thick and heavy, but it's definitely worth the read if you want to do the research. Thanks, bye.